Welcome, we're back with another iOS development video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to implement background notifications. Background notifications are a way to send stuff from your server to your app. So think of it as like a webhook notification, but from your server to the app instead of from some other server to your server. As always, I got a demo ready for you. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna send background notifications to my app over here. And when my app receives the background notification, it's gonna react by incrementing this number from 0 to 1, and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So let's do that. Here I got an endpoint. When I hit this endpoint, a background notification will be sent to my phone. So let's go ahead and try that. Here's one. Background notification is sent. Now this should increment to 1 twice, 3 times, and it's 3. It works even when you lock it. So I'm gonna send a notification and another one. And when I lock my iPhone, I should see 5. Here you go, 5. So that's a demo. And now we're gonna jump to implementation. Before we do any coding, you actually wanna start here at the Apple Developer Portal, Certificate Identifiers and Profiles. You wanna create an identifier for your app that will have that privilege to use notifications. So you create a new identifier, you select app, you hit continue. Here you're gonna choose push notifications. You select that and you select your bundle ID. Make sure that's the same thing you're using in your Xcode. In your Xcode here under project, the target, make sure it's the same as this one. Here, under signing and capabilities. So you copy that. This will go here, hit continue, register. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do, to create the identifier. And then the second thing, you need to go to keys. And here you need to create a new key. This is the key that I used in the demo, but let me show you how to create a new one. You hit this plus, and then here you do Apple Notification Services. You give it a name. Then here you need to click configure. I need to generate a key. Hit save, and then you can do continue. You can register the key. Then you get a key ID, and you can download the key. Then you gotta go to whatever you are coding, your backend. This is mine. And then you're gonna drop that key there. Make sure you store it securely using a secret manager or something like that. That's it on the developer portal. Here in signing capabilities, you need to hit capability, look for background modes, and then here you want to enable remote notifications. Okay, that's all for the paperwork now. Now we need to get working on the code for the backend. So let's start with the backend. In the backend, you need to create 2 endpoints. One called register device that takes the device ID for the user and store it in your database so that your backend can then know where to send the notifications to. And then another one that actually sends the notification. So first we're gonna work on this one here. Let me zoom in so you can see. So to code this, you need to install these dependencies, HTTP2, because that's the type of authentication that this uses, fastJWT, path, fs, course if you need it, and then Firebase admin and Firebase functions is my cloud provider. That could be different for you. You need to collect from the client side these 2 values. The user ID, however you identify the user in your database, and the device token, which the app is going to generate later. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I simply just store that in my database like this, and then respond that the device was registered. Now, we can switch to the client-side coding. Back to Xcode. Here in Xcode, aside from the setup that you just did, you need to create a new file, call it app delegate. This is going to use UIKit and user notifications. And then you're going to create an app delegate class like this. Here, let's implement this method. This method is going to request permission from the user to send them notifications. It's not really needed for remote notifications, the one that we're doing right now, background notifications. But if you want to switch to push notifications in the future, this is useful to have just in case. The user only needs to do it once anyways. This code will look like this. This is how you request authorization using this. User notification center, current, and then this method, request authorization. And here's where you get your result. This is the error handling, and this is what gets called when the permission is granted. Then after you do that, you need to hit application, register remote notification in the main thread like this. Okay, so that's that. It's gonna fire as soon as the app launch. Now we need to code this, register for remote notifications. This will be coded like this using this method. Application did register for remote notifications with device token. This method gets called when the user grants permission to register for remote notifications. Then with this, you need to get your device token and turn it into a string like this. This is how you print it out. You're gonna see that later when we test. Later here, we're gonna create an API call that sends this to the backend user. We just need to add failure handlers. This is what gets called for the failure. did fail to register remote notification, and then you handle it here however you want. And then here later, we're gonna code the method that handles when a background notification is received by the app. Let's test if this app delegate is working by going to here where @main is. This is the starting point of the app, and adding our app delegate here. Now let's run this. And now what we expect to see is that as soon as the app runs, we're gonna see the device token printed out in the console. Here, when the app just launches, it's gonna ask the user for permission to send them notification. When you hit allow, it's gonna generate the device token. Oh, we're missing one thing before that can happen. Here, we actually also need to go to target, here, signing in capabilities, and we need to click capability, and we need to add push notifications. And we don't have to do anything else. We just leave it as it is. Now we can refresh, replace, run it again, and we should be able to see the token. The app is launching. Here you go. This is the device token. Now we need to register it in the database using the API that we just created. For that, we need to go back to app delegate. And here, in did register for remote notification, we're gonna implement our API call here to the backend. This will look just like this, just a normal API call in Swift UI. Post, this is the URL. This is my user ID, no off, just for the demo. And this is the token that we get here, and here from device token. That gets sent, and then we check for the response here. Now, to see it in action, we just need to rerun the app. Now let's just take a look at the database and see what happens. App is launching, device token is generated here. And in my database, it just got registered just now. There you go. And this is the response from the API. Now we need to go back to the backend, and we need to work on the code that actually sends the notifications. This would be this endpoint, send background ping. This is the endpoint that's gonna send notifications to the app. Now to code this, we're gonna need the following. We're gonna need these. Key ID, this will be this little string here after auth key underscore. This is your key ID. Team ID, this will be in the top right of your certificate identifiers and profiles portal, right here. APNs topic, this will be your bundle identifier from Xcode. Go here, and this will be it. And this will be the path for your key. So it's just this. Make sure it's in the same directory as your index.js. There you go. Now we need to use all of that to send the background notification. So we're sending the background notification by sending an API request to Apple's server, and Apple sends from their server to your iPhone. And to authenticate that API call that goes to Apple server, you need to create a JWT token and also sign it. And this will look like this. We use this method, create signer, that we get from here from fast JWT, and we'll create a token that's just like this. This is the algorithm, this is the key from here. Headers, make sure type is undefined. You have to call that out explicitly, otherwise it's gonna fail. I tried. And the team ID. So this is how we created the signer. Now you need to create the token like this. This is the result of create signer. Now you have your JWT token. And now you can send the API request. And now this is the payload of the background notification. You do APNs, content available, 1, and this is the stuff that you can send to the app. So this is what I'm sending to the app. Type, reason, but this is fully customizable. It can be whatever you want. So I can do food, chicken, for example. I'll show you later how to receive this and parse it, and then handle it at the app side. Now, usually when you send background notification, you don't send it to a specific user. Usually, you send it to all your users. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna actually loop through all of our users and get the device token for each one of them and send them all background notifications at the same time. Now, when you send background notifications, they're not guaranteed. There's a lot of caveats there. Apple might sometimes delay the background notification. Sometimes the app won't respond to it if the battery is low or something like that. Sometimes Apple would drop the background notification immediately. So it's not exactly a guaranteed way of sending things to your app. But it is helpful for use cases where you just want to wake up the app sometimes to do some task that is not super critical. Like for example, in Twitter, when you update the feed so that when the user logs back to their Twitter, they can find that the timeline got updated instead of having to pull to refresh. Also, if the user force quit the app, that app is not gonna receive background notifications. The app has to be open in the background for it to receive it. Also, it's not good for long tasks. You get about 5 to 30 seconds once your app receives the notification to act on it. Otherwise, whatever you're gonna do is gonna get cut in the middle. So you shouldn't use this for asking the app to download a big amount of data, for example. And if you send too many, Apple might throttle them or drop them entirely again. And whatever you send to the app here has to be very specific small and very minimal so that Apple doesn't drop it. So don't try to send everything here. Maybe you can just tell the app something like, hey, the status changed, and you can have your app send the GET request to your server to load everything. So these are the caveats that you should know about this. And now let's get back to the coding. Okay, so now I'm gonna load all my users and I'm gonna loop through all of them like this. And here's what happens inside this loop. So it's a promise. I loop through all the documents in my database, and for each one, I get the user's device token, and I quit if there's no device token. And this is how we build the API request for Apple. This is the sandbox URL. Production will be without this. You use the HTTP2 library, connect, you put the URL, and you put the protocol, which is HTTPS, and then H2 here under APN protocols. And then this is how you handle the error, client.onError. And this is how you send the request, client.request. Here you say it's post, and you set the path. The path will be /3/device/ the user token, which you get from your database. APNs topic, which is the app bundle identifier, which we did up here. And then push type should be set to background. App priority should be 5 so that the user alerts have more priority than that. You encode the request. This is a placeholder for the response body. And here you handle the data that you receive as a response from Apple, which is not really the point of this. The point would be what your app receives, which I'm going to show you in a bit. And here you can debug errors on app request.onEnd, and then close the client that you were just using for sending requests. And after I do all of that, I'm going to just send the response back to my client after we send this API request. Okay, now let's go ahead and test this. Okay, so now this is running for the emulator, but we don't get to test it just yet. We need to handle what happens on the app. So here we need to create a new file. Let's call it app state. And this is a very simple piece of code that it's just a state that is shared by all the views in the app. And what it does is that just to have a method that increments this value, this state variable by 1. That's all we're doing. But you do this to handle it any way you want. This is just a simple way of handling the background notification. Here, instead, you can make it fetch data, reload something, change something in the UI, however you want to handle the background notification. Okay, now we use this here in app delegate. So here in app delegate, background notification handler, this is where we use that. Here we'll wire in this method that handles background notifications in general. So this is how you do it. Application did receive remote notification, and then a completion handler that you need to call after you've finished doing whatever task you're doing in the app in the background. We log whatever that was received, and then here we check if the notification is a background notification by checking the content available indicator that was here. If it's 1, it means it's background notification. 1 means there is content available. And now here we can trigger whatever action we want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that app state and increment the state by 1. So we drop this here, app state, and now I can access it here. Here I can just do app state dot, let me just fix this, dot increment silent push count. This will increment the state variable in app state by 1. Okay, so after I've done that, so that the app is able to read that state here, I need to pass that. I'll add environment object appdelegate.appState. And now here I need to create a content view that shows that state being changed. I just need to add my state variable here, my app state here, and then read it somewhere here and just display it. It's a very simple view that will look like this. And that's it. Now let's go ahead and test this. We'll rerun the app, and on Postman, we'll send this API call. We'll send it. My bad, I have a typo here. This should be response. Okay, let's try again. That's 0, send it, and we're receiving it. Let's keep sending it. And if we lock it and we keep sending the request over and over, and we unlock the iPhone, we see 5, 6, 7. And that's how to implement background notifications in iOS. Pretty simple and straightforward. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe for more content. And if you want to get the full source code that we used in this video and support the channel also at the same time, check out my Patreon link in the description box below. That's all for today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.